8 dimmable downlights installed inside a living room. Right, and this is a nice, clean, crisp ceiling. So we want to do as less disruption as possible. That means as less holes as possible. But as always, when you get there, they say, Ben, right, I want to change my TV from this side of the room to that side of the room. So can you do that today as well? Fantastic. I've got to try and do that without cutting holes. And we have young Stella here keeping an eye on us. There we go. Make sure we do it right. Good girl. First things first, I want to see how these lights are wired. Whether they've got the live and neutral going straight to the light, or whether they're going down to the switch. So all we've got in the ceiling is a live and neutral. So you've got to ping these little bits out. Obviously, to get that switch off, I'll put them back, I will, because some people, if I take them off and they're on there already, I will put them back. Some people like them, I don't know. If they're annoying to me, I normally throw them in the bin. But get this switch off and we'll have a little look inside to see actually how the switch is wired. The other one down the other end, that was just a two-way switch. So, and this end, we just want to check to see what's in there. And we have a live and a neutral at the switch. So that means there's only a live and neutral in the ceiling. Spot on, nice and easy. Now I've got my new velocity sort of sheet where I can put down to put my kit on. And we'll sit down here and we'll make a drawing of the room. Basically, the first thing I want to do is get the dimensions of the area of the ceiling that I'm going to be putting the downlights in to figure out exactly where they want to be. So with this room, we've got 7.44 meters. So firstly, that's the width of the length of the room. So now all we want to do is get the width of the room, just to start with, to see how we're going to figure out where these lights want to be. And then drill the holes and start to wire them. Hopefully get them through nice and neat. So we've got the measurement of the width as well, which is 3.88. So that is 3 meters 88. So now we've got to work out the dimensions of how we're going to work out where these lights want to go. So after the measurements I've got from the room, I've done a meter out from the walls and a meter out from the edges, and then done some calculations to find out what this was in the middle. Basically 7.44 minus 2 meters divided by 123, and that comes out at 1.81 each space in there. So that's similar to 1.88 what we've got in between. So then it'll be spaced out nice and neat on the ceilings. And of course, because the ceiling's plastered, these going to need to find out where the studs are, because you do not want to drill a hole in the stud. It's a bleeding nightmare. So if you haven't got some already, grab yourself some stud buddies. You could basically leave them on the ceiling while you're working, just to remind you where the joists are, and just so you know, so when you're measuring it out, you're not going to mark your holes in a stupid place where you're going to hit the joists. And then luckily with this property, as I am 6'4", I can reach the ceiling. A little bit of tiptoes to help me out there. I can do it without getting a ladder. This is a lot easier. I can mark out exactly where the lights want to be, and what I did when I first started working out was go to each corner 1 meter to 1 meter. So mark all the corners, and then I'm going to get something out to get the other lights in the middle nice and straight and symmetrical with each corner. And this is where I use a laser, and just to be able to mark out, because you want to get a laser in there, so basically each corner will measure up perfectly with the other corner. So I'll stick a nail in each corner as well. You could put up there with a bit of string, but I don't think I've got a bit of string long enough, especially when I've got a laser. You ain't got to mark anything. You could do it with a chalk line even, but then you've got to brush the chalk off later on. But what I did with these, them two bits down the bottom, they're the stud buddies up there, so I can see where the studs are. But I just wanted to use the laser to mark out, so then I can measure in between. There's 2 more lights to go in between, so there's 8 lights altogether in this room, a row of 4 and a row of 4. So I wanted to get the laser up so I could mark out the other ones in between that were nice and straight. So then later on, they were nice and symmetrical. The last thing you want to do is drill your holes, especially with downlights. Because if you can notice it's an inch out, the customer will say, it's an inch out, Ben. And the only thing with this laser in all the time, it gets in your eyes. I should really turn it off because it's not good having this laser in your eyes. But what I do, I stick a screw in the hole of the one on the corner, so then I can hook my tape measure on it as well and mark out exactly that way, like lengthways, where the lights are going. So each corner I can mark out, and then hopefully if I measure the two in the middle is the same gap as what I've measured out, then it proves to me that I've got them all symmetrical and marked out correctly. So there we go, all my pencil marks are on the ceiling. Doesn't matter marking it in pencil because I'm going to drill them holes out anyway. And then as well, you've got to check that where your stud buddies are, that's where your studs are, and that them pencil lines are missing the studs. The last thing you want to do is obviously drill into a stud. It makes it look a bit of a mess, but it does happen sometimes. And here we go, we're going to get a hole saw, my little dade to collect all the dust, stick this all together, so then we can just whiz through cutting the downlight holes for the downlights. And I don't care how many times you've done it or how many times you've drilled the holes, you can never be 100% confident that you're not going to hit a joist. But you go for it anyway. You've got to cut the holes out because you do not want to. If you hit one joist, it starts them all again. You've got to jig them all around a little bit. You can't have two that are sort of 2 centimetres out to the rest. It will just look stupid. But in this property, being pretty new, like a new build-ish, that I thought, right, this is going to work out pretty well. So I just went ahead and drilled my 8 downlights. And look at that. Not one of them gone anywhere near a joist, which was spot on because some of this plasterboard, it was bleeding glued up, so it didn't even have screws in. So surprisingly, that my stud buddy picked up a few of the screws, so I could tell where they were. But there we go, stud buddy's done their job, made me miss all the studs, stick them back in the box, ready to come out and save the day another day. So the next step would get my super tongue out. With the super rod tools, you need these if you're doing downlights in a premises which has already been boarded. Unfortunately, this is a bleeding nightmare because it's got an upstairs, but someone stuck insulation in between the joists. That unheard of. I don't see that too often, but I suppose it makes the house a bit more warm. So then I've had to fiddle around with my super tongue. Obviously, there's no comparison or there's no competition for this super tongue. It is fantastic. It does the job spot on. And this is to help me wire from the old lighting position. So I want to get from the old lighting position to the new downlights. And then, in addition to the super tongue, I have to use my, I'm not even sure what these ones are called, super gripper cable. I'm not sure. I'll have to look up. I'll put in the description. Super gripper cable, Chinese gripper cable things. I don't even know what they are. I can't remember. But they are brilliant. They help if there's a small gap you've got to pull through, because this is going to have joists in there where you might have to pull through a hole. So I had to connect them onto something. So giving it a tug with that helps me not have to have tape where it doesn't get stuck. You know when you put a cable onto a bit of cable and you've got that bit that's higher than the other, and if it gets stuck, if there's somewhere where it can get stuck, it will get stuck. These little super duper cable gripper things, they help spot on. They help it pull straight through. Look, give it a tug, there we go. It's stronger than a bit of tape as well. And this is why I'm able to throw the cables across and get all the cables in pretty quick without having to drill 1,000 holes. Not 1,000, there's probably, 4? I've had to drill some holes there. Basically, there's a beam going through the centre of this living room that obviously helps support the house, which, yeah, I had to find out after 20 minutes of trying to get my bleeding rods through, hitting the beam. So there we go. We've got that all through there. Second fix, all the lights, nice and neat. And there's plenty of cables on there, so I can shove them up inside. Put them all on plugs, so it makes them easy for me to test. Once they're all tested, there we go, we can turn them on. And we're also going to change one of these two-way switches to a dimmer. Now for the next job though. socket, yeah, that'll be fine, but we need to get this TV point straight back over to the other side of the room, basically, because I want to mount the TV on this side. So what I've had to do, I had no choice, is drill a hole in the ceiling so I can fish the cable straight across. And once again, with the help of super rods, I could do it in a oneer. I drilled one hole at one side of the room and then another hole at the other side of the room. Yeah, it was like a 4-inch hole, but I had to get my hand up there as well. So then I can find out where that cable is, cut it, join it to then reposition the TV point over the other side of the room. When it was on the other side of the room, it was simple enough to put a socket on. There's always a socket on the wall, and it's dot and dab walls. So I was able to get a single socket for the TV in that position pretty easy. It was just the TV point that was giving me problems. So I had to join it and rejig it over to the other side of the room. It went straight up inside the wall through the upstairs as well. Unfortunately, I thought it might go through the ceiling and I could grab it hold of it this end. Yeah, it's never that easy, is it? So that was my TV point in. So now all I need to do is do a single socket for behind the TV. That's all I wanted, a single socket to plug their TV in. Everything else hooked up wirelessly. So one socket for the TV, that's all we needed. Nice and neat. But as always, just because I like to, I know it's behind the TV, it's not going to matter. Stick a level on it. I want to get it nice and straight. Just because when you take the telly off and it doesn't look a stupid mess of being wonky, it probably thinks, yeah, that electrician done a good job. Because you will find if you look after your electrician, the electrician will look after you. And you give him a nice cup of tea with a bit of cake. I'm going to make sure everything's level and spot on. Because this cake was beautiful. Yeah, I got a big mouth, haven't I? So then there we go, got there in the bleeding daylight. Now it's dark, obviously got the lights on. Everything's moved, even put the mirror back up. TV's over there. Is the customer happy? She's back in her position, very happy. Good girl. I'd say she's happy. Not with me though. Good girl.